gear in the Dragon Lord and see when our stats match up. So looking forward to this one.
And we are off. So starting off in the throne room here, we see 4 different sprites. So Smashy is playing as Christo from Dragon Warrior 4. Betastrep is playing as Tav the dog from Dragon Warrior 4. And then we have a ninja by Ursine. And WillWagnerMusic is playing as Waluigi.
And we have a major find. We have a double key start. So we are going to have a spare key and the money to buy more. So this could be off to a real quick start this evening.
Absolutely. Having access to magic keys and being able to replenish them so quickly is just going to really jettison these players forward, because we're not only going to have the 4 treasure chests in the treasury available to us, we also have a cave available to us. As long as it's friendly, we might be seeing an early cave dive as well.
Yes, it looks like several of our runners are headed back to the treasury first. Looks like none of them are taking the immediate dive down to the staircase.
Yeah, and I like this play. Most of the players have gone back into the throne room. And so when you first start up, the gold glitch is now active. So now everybody has potential access to unlimited gold. So Betastrep, making use of that, gonna grind up some gold, even though we don't really quite know what's around here. But there's 2 gold chests altogether in the treasury, so pretty good chance of seeing everybody picking up some gold.
Yes, and we also had Erdrick's sword, so we have the big stick right off the bat. So our runners are looking for gold, gonna hopefully find a town and pick up armor, but their weapon issues are already solved.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, Smashy, taking a death to a werewolf in that first cave, he was able to step up, which means that's either going to be Swamp South or the Grave, one of the 2. And there's another cave just south of Tantagel there. Looks like this one is Tablet Cave, which he just straight up nopes out of. Can't really say that I blame him there, seeing as how all these enemies are going to be one-shottable with the mighty Erdrick sword in hand. We're going to see our first peak here at level 2 on Smashy's side. An extra 12 power, 1 speed, 7 hit points, and 5 MP. So already off to a good start with the attack power. Enemies are not going to be too big of an issue here.
No, it definitely looks like enemies will not be an issue. I am surprised at the large size of the gold grind that several of our runners have taken here. With that sword in the treasury, you're not at a whole lot of risk in the early game, so I am a little shocked by this.
And we find the town of Remoldar as well on Smashy's screen. It was just west and north of the castle. Also that level 3, a very, very large level. 12 more power, 9 speed, 9 HP, and 9 MP. So some very, very nice starting levels in comparison to some of them that we've seen lately.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see 40 strength at level 12 on this seed. I think we're going to be a little better than that this evening.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, we have Betastrep picking up level 2, heading west. And there's another couple of towns over here. Wow. So Smashy has kind of hit the gold grind, or the gold trove of towns here. So getting a lot of the exploration out of the way. The next level only brings 2 power, but 8 speed, 10 HP, and 10 MP, as well as new spells. That's going to be pretty big. So levels are being fairly kind to them. So we do have the town of Breckenary, which has a large shield, which Smashy is going to pick up, add an extra 10 defense to his defensive power. So he's a grand total of 26 defense from his current armor set.
And there is magic armor for Betastrep. Very good pickup there, especially because the magic armor does give you at least the hurt and hurt more protection, even though it doesn't quite measure up to Erdrick's armor with its breath protection and stop spell protection. So we'll have to see how that works out later.
Absolutely, and magic armor this early is just such a good play. Maybe later on, when the armor is really the only thing you're looking for, maybe skip on it. But for now, the magic armor is going to be a very, very nice upgrade, giving 8 defense points over Smashy's current setup.
Yes, and definitely a good pickup also, because in all the towns we've seen so far, we do not have that elusive silver shield. So we are missing that extra 10 defense power and a shield compared to the large. So that could come back into play later.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, we have a Wraith on Smashy's screen, but this should prove to be no problem as he's already defense breaking him. Nice pickup of 42 experience, well on his way to level 6. Meanwhile, WillWagnerMusic has picked up level 4 and has found the town of Vermilder as well. And so has Ursine.
It looks like Smashy may have found Mountain Cave based on this walking pattern.
Yes, indeed he has. And Ursine, just a little short on the gold to pick up the magic armor, is going to have to nope out of it. Just wings in the end in Vermilder, so nothing too fancy there. And the top chest contains another magic key.
Smashy definitely having some good luck getting away from those Magi Wyverns while still at a pretty low level here, so that is working out. While our rest of our runners are taking their shopping trips and finding that they do know the location of Hawksness for later.
Alright, so it looks like Smashy unfortunately took a death there in Mountain Cave, which sent him back. I missed how far he got, though.
Yeah, that looked like a Druin Lord with Hurtmore.
So magic armor could definitely come into play. If Betastrep finds that Mountain Cave, he'll be pretty safe. And meanwhile, Ursine is deciding to go ahead and pick up herbs and torches and dragon scales that she needs.
Well, since it was Breckenary, I guess you might as well get what out of it you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Smashy immediately sent home by a night in the Mountain Cave again. So Mountain Cave a little bit out of play right now. There's some not so friendly enemies at this current agility. And our tracker pointing out she was actually selling the wings and a couple of other items she had in her inventory to pick up enough money to go and grab the magic armor.
And there is the power of that early game magic armor. That Druin Lord one-shot Smashy with the Hurtmore, but it could not do that to Will Wagner, and Will took it out for that large experience boost.
Yeah, absolutely. And question in chat, is it worth it to cast Repel this early? Well, our runners right now have 34 defense on Will Wagner, for example. He has 34 defense added to his total, so you're going to be keeping things that are anywhere from a slime to, I believe, Metal Scorpion would be the cutoff at that point, to where you would be able to repel those enemies, keep them away. So Repel is definitely worth it with the current equipment draw. At this low of a level, though, typically this isn't something you're going to see.
Will Wagner now into that mountain cave. We'll see if he has any better time getting through here than Smashy has so far.
Well, he does have a few extra defense points, not too much more HP than Smashy, but he should be able to survive a hit from, say, a knight or a magi wyvern. And we find the last chest that can contain a magic key, I think. I think that's all 3 of them. So, won't be finding any more magic keys. WillWagner manages to get away from a star wyvern twice, comes across a metal slime. Meanwhile, Ursine taking on a couple of enemies here, and looking like she's just doing some grinding here. Betastrep headed over towards the mountain cave here. And Smashy still kind of struggling a little bit with some of the enemies here in Mountain Cave.
Wow, Will with some great luck on that metal got the 3 hits in only 4 swings, and there's our first cursed belt. Amused? How about you explain to our audience why that cursed belt is a very big thing to find this early on?
So, the cursed belt is an item that you'll only find in a chest if something that we call a search spot is in play. So the token can either be on a search spot, or it can be in a chest. If it's on a search spot, it'll pick up a cursed belt, and the same thing is respectively true for the fairy flute. So that cursed belt is taking the place of the token or the fairy flute. So we know that at least one of the search spots has to have either the token or the flute. The 3 search spots are going to be the overworld coordinates that you get from Cantlin, and then you also have the search spot at Gwyn's shop in Hawksness, and then you also have a search spot in Cole, which is 4 steps south of the bath. So those 3 search spots, if you find 2 cursed belts, you know that all 3 of them are in play. But right now we know that there are 2 of them that are in play because Erdrick's armor has to be on one of those search spots.
Wow, and our runners getting the information one by one that wolves are not to be trifled with. They have sleep and the spell of hurt more.
Yes, the good old Wumbo combo. It looks like looks like Betastrep is going through Swamp Cave right now, and it leads to Garenham. So there's a gold grind available no matter what you do here.
There's about 4 different gold grinds available, but the back of Garenham does have the Stones of Sunlight and the Silver Harp, so the back of Garenham is loaded this evening.
Absolutely. So that puts us just 2 key items away from being able to pick up the rainbow drop. So some very good exploration on Betastrep's side. Decided to nope out of the mountain cave and came over to Swamp to see what he could get here, and it's serving him well so far. And we also see the big C on Betastrep's side as well. Charlotte Castle, you require the rainbow drop in order to access, so we'll be seeing our runners picking up those items to get to the rainbow drop.
Yes, and depending on our map here, that may be a second continent Charlock, so we may have to use that swamp cave to get back through there anytime we need to get back there. So if the Dragon Lord is bad or the Spike Tile's bad, we could see some significantly long walk times there.
Yes, absolutely. And to answer a question in chat, yes, Rainbow Drop is currently still located on the Jerk at all times. The same rings true for the Staff of Rain as well. So it's going to always be with the old guy that wants the Silver Harp. And Betastrep running into the Fun Police. I think his adventure is over at this point.
Looks like he's going to have to go back and have a chat with the king while he's being resuscitated.
to answer a question in chat, no, we have not seen a silver shield yet. Although betastrep, I don't think checked the shop in Garenham, so it might be there. If he did, and it's not, then that's just me not paying attention. Meanwhile, Smashy picking up the town of Hawksness, and with this HP, that's not too terrible of an idea. At least you can poke in and see what it is and get back out.
And we have a stone man.
And unfortunately, no sleep spell means that this is going to be out of reach until we have a more effective form of healing or we get the sleep spell.
Yep, that stone man is swinging a mighty righty and knocks Smashy back to the king.
Indeed it does, and Ursine running into a wolf that immediately puts her to sleep. Unfortunately, well, actually, it's been pretty nice. Managed to get the stop spell on, so she's in pretty good position to take this down fairly quickly.
Yeah, the early gold grind available with the double key start that we had got our runners some significantly armor, so we are already defense breaking a large number of our early game enemies and the lower tier of our mid game enemies.
Yeah, absolutely. 61 defense at this point is definitely nothing to scoff at, especially at only level 7. That means that pretty much anything up to a wyvern we are defense breaking at this point. So got a lot of early mid-game enemies that are in play here, and getting close to some of those later game enemies breaking as well.
And there is Smashy gaining our information for our lower race of the location of the Stones of Sunlight and the Silver Harp, both located in the back of Garenham.
And Ursine, unfortunately, taking the business from this Demon Knight here, dodged 3 times in a row. And WillWagnerMusic has picked up a torch. Thank you very much to Lorgon for pointing that out. It was in Tablet Cave.
And there we got to look at Garenham's shop. The only major item it has was the flame sword, but with Erdrick's sword, for some reason being stashed in the castle treasury. Why the king didn't make use of it, we don't know. The flame sword not really going to be a big deal today.
Yeah, absolutely, and so that means that Catelyn is the last hope for these runners to see a silver shield.
But with 3 shops there, they still do have a pretty good chance at it. We'll just have to see how lucky they get this seed.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And there is Betastrep hitting level 8, so he is pulling out to a small lead here, with Ursine having some issues getting some enemies being very uncooperative. The Wolf Lords with Dragon Lord Breath, you know, just the normal.
And level 8 brought the Spell of Sleep. I just picked that up on Smashy's screen there. So it'd be interesting to see if he decides to go back to Hawksness or not. He has a ton of attack power that he can just wail away at the Stone Man. It's still going to be a long fight, but that's one of those search spots just out of the way. And with him being the only one lacking magic armor, that Erdrick's armor is pretty enticing.
Wow, Betastrep now 3 XP from level 9, as that was a Metal Slime kill for 255 XP.
And Ursine, just a few minutes behind, has found the Stones of Sunlight and the Silver Harp in the back of Garenham. And it's Erdrick's armor this time, apparently.
That's not possible currently, but it is rumored to potentially happen later on with a future update. So that might look really weird for now, folks, but possibly not later.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm looking forward to some of the things that I've seen rumored for the new randomizer version that'll make play a little interesting, to be quite honest. So we do see Smashy heading straight back into Hawksness. He's like, okay, let's go take care of this. Hopefully it's the armor. If not, I already know that the token's on a search spot. So this is a really good play for him. The werewolf giving a little bit of business here to Betastrep. Betastrep going to fall to that, but that's okay because he's cleared out the mountain cave.
Yeah, definitely doesn't mind that a whole lot once they got to the bottom of the mountain cave and found that death necklace. So definitely much easier to take that death once the 5 chests are all cleared.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like he was trying to take it down just to maintain some experience flow, but unfortunately, it just didn't quite work out.
Stone Man definitely not cooperating on that trap tile. One turn of sleep and it woke right back up.
Yeah, but these runners are a pretty good favorite to take it down in 4 to 5 hits, maybe 6, depending upon how the rolls go. So pretty easy to take down, especially with us having 80 HP for our maximum HP. Add another 13 strength at level 9. And then we got another spell. It went a little quick for me to see. Maybe stop spell?
No, we've had stop spell for a while because that was being used on the wolves. But while Smashy was taking that out, Ursine ran into another Fun Police member and gets sent back to the king.
Yeah, it's just the unfortunate part of the beginning of the race. You don't quite have enough agility to make it away from them, or you don't have heal more to heal through the damage they deal. So a little bit of unfortunate luck there, but WillWagnerMusic finds a bridge down at the bottom there, runs into his red dragon, and will probably be sent back to the king as well. Meanwhile, Smashy picked up something in Hawksness. What did he pick up?
That was the fairy flute. The baby golem, otherwise known as the Stone Man, was hiding the ability to put the golem to sleep.
Absolutely, definitely suffered from a little bit of a commentator's tongue there. Couldn't find the words that I want. Like, I'm looking right at the tracker. I can see it. I'm like, what's that called?
And there is Will Wagner finding the Staff of Rain cave and turning his harp in to receive his Staff of Rain. We are now a token in the jerk away from the rainbow drop.
It looks like the second continent kind of butt ends at the east side here, though, and I don't think that Smashy was able to go west and north either. So it looks like this is a pretty small second continent.
And the Fun Police giving Will WagnerMusic the business and sending him back to chat with his king.
Yep, but he definitely has a little bit of an exploration lead over the other runners here, so hopefully we'll get to see him excel and continue with that exploration lead to eventually end up into an actual full-scale lead. It's just going to be kind of dependent on how the game decides to treat him.
Yeah, this definitely looks like it's just a town hunt at this point. The big finds are going to be Cole and Cantlin. One will lead to the armor, and the other is likely to lead to the token. We don't know that for certain yet because we haven't seen the second cursed belt, but it's also possible for that to be in Sharlock, so not always a guarantee either way at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Smashy heading north at the center of the second continent. Looks like it opens up quite a bit. It has already found the bonus cave, or the Stones of Sunlight cave in the vanilla game, and picked up 510 gold. And by process of elimination, Smashy is in the grave right now. Radiant. That's the spell they picked up at level 9. Thank you to Cyberdark for that.
Yeah, this could either be a masterful play if the token got kicked to a chest, or it could be an enormous time sink if they dive clear to the bottom, because really all that we need at this point is the token for the rainbow drop and to grind and go.
Yeah, absolutely. But the grave enemies are fairly respectable in terms of HP versus experience at this point. So he's still accomplishing a couple of things here. The other thing that could be down here in the grave is the fighter's ring, which 2 extra attack powers sometimes makes the difference. And especially with how much strength we've seen earlier this seed, it wouldn't be surprising to see it come down to a fighter's ring versus not fighter's ring at the end of the seed.
And Smashy looks like making the play here to just open the 3 chests on the very top, and since there was nothing of value, looks like they are headed right back out to the overworld to go hunting our remaining locations.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 chests at the bottom of the grave are a very, very large time investment, and there's so little that he can find there. So I'm not surprised to see that at all. It looks like Betastrep is going to pick up either Cole or Cantlin here, though. And it is the town of Cole.
Yes, and at the same time, WillWagnerMusic has rescued Gwaelin to take care of getting the Gwaelin positioning system, and also found out that the Axe Knight is the spike tile, and the Axe Knight has stop spell.
That is an amazing Axe Knight.
Yes, once we have Erdrick's armor with its inherent immunity to the stop spell, that Axe Knight becomes a ridiculously easy grind.
Yeah, absolutely. And meanwhile, Betastrep is picked up Erdrick's armor and Cole. 4 more defense added to his total there, but he also gains immunity to stop spell, and he also has a 1/3 damage reduction from the Hurt and Hurt War spell, as well as Fire Breath. And we're going to find our last cave here. This is the jerk right here.
All right, so the question of the seed. Does the old man in Cantlin have coordinates, or are we rediving the grave?
Absolutely. So few locations left to look. It's going to be pretty likely that it's going to be on the overworld.
Yes, and that is Smashy finding Cole and his Erdrick's armor. So we now have 1 runner of each race in Erdrick's armor, and we have Will Wagner with the knowledge that the swamp tile is the scrumptious experience Axe Knight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good time for him to just grind out some levels. He knows that he's only searching for a couple of locations. He hasn't seen the majority of the second continent, so it puts him right out at the second continent. And Will did lose the princess, but I don't know if he's really going for it at this point. He just wants to kind of feel it out there.
Oh, but it looks like we're going to need it. We have a 93 north coordinates with only 9 west.
Absolutely. That is a very, very difficult count, but we have some talented runners here. We may see what we call a reverse coordinate count here, which could come into play. I did see the northern corner of the map, which puts us, which tells us that we're 120 north from the castle. So if we could find the west or the eastern edge, it wouldn't be that hard to count it back. But saving the princess probably saves some time there.
Yeah, I think this has a fair likelihood of being through the swamp cave, potentially. So that the saving of the princess could definitely be a big difference.
Absolutely, especially if the second continent doesn't... well, actually it does. It has the eastern side of the map absolutely locked down, but that's a heck of a walk, so it'd be interesting to see what these runners do with it. The princess is definitely the way that I would go, though.
Yeah, with a 90 plus, I don't think I would really be wanting to risk trying to reverse count that, especially with it only being a few west-east. It just makes it really difficult to reverse count it in any manner of consistency.
And to further elaborate on the question about the hidden map tile, the hidden map tile can be on any overworld tile that the hero can step onto. So the Great Craggy Mountains are the only thing that the search spot cannot contain. Also, water. You can't walk into water. So those would be the two tile types that you would not see a search spot on.
Alright, there is Will getting up to level 10 with those Axe Knights.
Yeah, he's done a good job of catching up with some experience here. And looks like he's going to be turning in the princess as well.
Yeah, he's only about 350 behind on the experience, but Smashy has so much knowledge of the rest of the continent that Will just does not have at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. But with so little defined, it would be pretty quick to catch up in terms of exploration here. So it'll be interesting to see how the race between the two of them play out. Meanwhile, the race between betastrep and ursine, I definitely have to give the advantage to Beta here a little bit. He's seen a lot of the map, is better equipped, has found the Staff Rain Cave, as has ursine. So they're pretty even in exploration with the exception of the armor. But betastrep has an experience lead over her by about 500 points, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out later on and whether or not betastrep can keep that lead.
And ursine taking the mountain blocked Sparkover Bridge attempt and searching it to make sure that our seed is validated.
And it looks like WillWagnerMusic got over to Brecken areas, picking up some more herbs, so he might be electing to grind a little more.
This may definitely be a case where with that stop spell knowledge and some of that information, Will may just go hunting heal more, and then once he has heal more, he goes out to find the rest of the items with the extra survivability.
And thank you to our tracker for pulling up this axe tonight, as this axe knight is going to be a pretty pivotal part of this race, as we're seeing betastrep expanding that experience lead by taking down axe knights very, very efficiently. You see that he has a 75% chance of casting a stop spell. So we're going to be seeing that pretty often, and with Erdrick's armor, it's never going to hit. So those are just free turns.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Level 11 is Hurtmore.
Indeed, Hurt More being a spell that can one-shot Axe Knights with about 80% efficiency is going to be huge for Betastrep. Betastrep is going to just really, really jump out in front of the pack here in terms of how much experience he's grabbing.
Absolutely, especially with that Axe Knight knowledge already. That's going to make things significantly easier to pull off. That Erdrick's armor with the resistance or the immunity to stop spell and that Hurt More spell is just going to allow Beta to skyrocket up to whatever level that he feels he needs to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking over some of the stats, we're seeing some pretty decent stats here. 66 strength is a little lower than we'd like, but 95 HP, we're already almost within range to make that Dragon Lord fight pretty comfortable. So getting pretty close on the HP. MP is definitely a concern right now, though, as we only have 50 for our maximum MP on Smashy's side. I'm not sure if Small X is HP strength. Maybe somebody in chat can help me out with that. I would assume that they're fairly similar in MP, though.
Yeah, one of our trackers up to NG pointing out that you could just melee the Axe Knights with their 75% stop spell. I would like that option a lot better if we had either heal or heal more, where we could use that MP for efficiency to stay there longer. Without it, I don't mind hurt mooring just to get the XP faster.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because even with the current strength that we have, the strength that we had at level 11, we were 2 to 3 shotting an Axe Knight. Now we're going to be pretty close to consistently one-shotting an Axe Knight. But level 12, bringing a much-needed stat boost. 73 on the strength there, bringing us up to 113 attack power. HP at 102, we are well within range on HP. That is a very nice HP total to see. MP still lagging behind, though, so agility is a little low as well, only at 55.
Yeah, the 55 agility definitely makes the dive through Sharlock potentially dangerous if we run into things like Red Dragons and Armored Knights with their supremely high agility and the difficulty that you have running from them. And the MP at 52 is a serious concern. That is only 6 heal mores at this point. So we are definitely going to need to see a large MP jump later.
And Betastrep, being given the business by the wizard, loses the princess, and we also have discovered that wizards have Dragon Lord 2 Breath. So that is one Sharlock enemy that these runners are going to be fearful of for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely not fun to find any of the Sharlock enemies with Dragon Lord 2 Breath, but of all of them, the wizard is one of the probably safer ones because they are not as difficult to get away from as the other enemies vis-a-vis the red dragon, the armored knight, and even the blue dragon or the golem at times could be significantly more difficult.
Absolutely. A lot of those enemies that you're mentioning being tier 4 enemies, they keep all of their agility, so they have more agility than the wizard actually has when calculating those stats out. So you definitely make a really good point there.
All right. Betastrep is back on the grind while we have multiple runners in the grave, it looks like, and Smashy appears to be diving the bottom of the grave. Did I see that wrong? I was sure Smashy had the coordinate information. Why would he be diving the bottom of the grave, do you think, Amused?
I would say this is a play for the fire string. So many times before we've seen. Nope. He's rescuing the princess. That
was the princess rescue. I saw one set of tiles there that looked just like one section of the grave, and I thought he was in a far different place than he was in.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely was thinking the same thing. I thought he was just walking straight down to go down to the bottom floor. So, That's what we get for going and just trying to commentate as fast as we can. So, meanwhile, we have WillWagnerMusic that is in Cole. He is going to pick up his armor. It is a very, very short stroll from Cole to Cantlin. I imagine he will pick up his coordinates very, very soon.
Yes, and while Will was picking up his Erdrick's armor, Betastrep got yet another level and is up to level 13.
And up to and G pointing out that we still have not seen a healing spell, and I definitely agree. This is a little troublesome, but it's just another excuse for these runners to pick up some extra stats before they go try and dive into Charlotte Castle. I don't really mind Heal More being locked behind level 14, 15, or even 16. It just allows us to get more stats, because everybody's going to have Heal More eventually.
Yeah, sadly, Beta on the first trip through the Swamp Cave did not successfully get the princess all the way out. So he has dove back in, killed off a bunch more Axe Knights, and is now letting Gwalen ride Tov the dog all the way back to King Lorik. We're going to have nearly simultaneous princess rescues by Smashy and Betastrep, as long as Beta can get away from this werewolf, while Will gets his coordinates, finds out that they are kind of a long ways away from the castle. That 93 north is going to be a lot of fun to deal with.
It's looking like it is going to be on the second continent, up over by Cole, if I'm not mistaken. And meanwhile, Ursine is diving down into the grave as she has not found Cantlin yet.
Yes, with no Cole and no Cantlin, Ursine is full clearing the chests in the game, it appears. And with no heals, that is going to be a very rough dive.
Meanwhile, Smashy picking up a gold grind to grab a silver shield from, I believe it was Cantlin we saw it in.
Yes, the silver shield was in Cantlin, and this may be a case of Smashy is pretty sure the coordinates are going to lead to the second continent, so this is going to be a play for multiple incentivized items, both defensively and for that Erdrick's token, all in one go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Trying to accomplish as much as humanly possible all in one go. Meanwhile, WillWagnerMusic has fallen quite a bit behind in experience behind Smashy in their race. Ursine also behind Betastrep as well, but is quickly catching up with that exploration, just narrowing down those options. So it looks like this is actually going to turn out to be a pretty close race, actually, I would think.
Yeah, Will, with all the knowledge he has now, I would guess is going to go back and get some levels on that Axe Knight. Gonna find out the good news that Hurtmore is going to pop up soon for him. Oh, as a matter of fact, there's the level and there's the Hurtmore. What a convenient time for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that you're right. I think that the grind is the play here, seeing as how everything that he currently still has need of is on the second continent. So he has to go through here anyways. Why not grind up some levels while you're here? Girenham is just in the back there. It's a pretty easy, efficient grind.
Yep, and Ursine getting us the information that there was a second cursed belt, which we were already certain of, But as soon as she saw it, she cast outside and went on the hunt, and there's going to be Cole, and Ursine will be our final runner to have Erdrick's armor and be on their way.
And she's taking a peek into the shop as well, looking for that elusive silver shield. Unfortunately, gets the bad news that it's not here, but it will be immediately replaced with the good news of Erdrick's armor. So, definitely going to be very happy to see that. And Cole pretty much leads right over to Caitlin. So, all of her runners are pretty much going to have all the knowledge they need.
Yeah, it should definitely be a very quick trip here for Ursine to catch up knowledge-wise with the rest of our restream here. Still lagging behind betastrep by a couple of levels, but with that Axe Knight grind available and the likelihood that everyone is going to rescue Gwaelin, we're at least going to have the ability to see a good attempt at making a catch-up grind. Oh, it looks like Beta has made that ever-present mistake, forgetting that Gwaelin's coordinates are reversed and was looking for 9 west when you need to find 9 east.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. It's unfortunate that has occurred.
Oh, and I think he's headed the wrong direction again. He's trying to wrap this direction. Well, I think it was back the other way to his left there.
Yeah, it was up in that area right there. I do believe.
Yeah, he's got his directions confused. He needed to walk around to that little plains area to the left side of that island that he was just on.
Yep, absolutely. It'll click here in just a moment, I'm sure.
Yeah, when he saw the 20 plus west, that had to trigger in his mind that he was going the wrong direction. So the spot is definitely north and west of Cole. So that is going to be exactly where it leads them back to. The coordinates are almost going to be right outside of Caitlin, I think. As crazy as that is.
So it's pretty close to it, yeah. So the coordinates are actually... Cole is about 30 paces south of the northern edge of the map. So it's really close to the northern edge of the map. And I wonder what Betastrep is doing here. He's heading south. He's piecing out on the coordinates.
Did he think he was messed up and he thought that it... Oh no, he got which one was reversed backwards. He's looking to go south. Or he thinks he got the coordinates wrong and is going back to recheck them. Oh my, he thinks he made a mistake writing them down, amused.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate. Unfortunately, these mistakes happen, you know, a lot of pressure here, trying to get good position, trying to do well in the tournament. I think this is a lot of nerves showing here. So he's just double checking himself, making sure that he's right. He still has a very solid lead, though, over the other runners. He's ahead in experience. He's right on par with getting exploration caught up. And I mean, he's doing absolutely fine. He's just got to focus here. That's literally the only thing that he has to do.
And thankfully, this continent looks like it's going to funnel Ursine back down towards Caitlin. So I think Ursine will find that.
So actually, Ursine is going to miss Caitlin. Caitlin was just to the west of there. That cave that was right there on that peninsula is the grave, and Cole is west of that, and Caitlin is southwest of Cole.
Wow, that is rough. It's tucked off in a little corner, and Ursine made the wrong left turn at Albuquerque.
Yep, absolutely. So she is actually right near, right in the middle of the area where you come out of the swamp cave at Garenham.
All right, and while Will has taken the XP lead with the Axe Knight grind, Smashy is up in the correct area to find the token. We'll have to see its exact positioning here. I think it's going to be just to the left, over that bridge, and off in those plains tiles over there.
You are correct. Betastrep just picked up his token. So our runners are simultaneously looking to pick up that Erdrick's token. Both of these runners know where the jerk is, the jerk being right around where Ursine was just a few moments ago. So not too terribly far of a walk if our runners remember where it is.
Yes, and there is Smashy with his token pickup up in the center of that plains tile sector, and off to the jerk we go. Beta right to the jerk like a homing missile, and I would assume going back to the castle to immediately begin grinding Axe Knights.
Absolutely. WillWagnerMusic has closed up the experience gap. He was in last place in terms of experience before he started this grind. He is now a very close second place to Betastrep. So this is very, very, really efficient grinding on his part. He knows all the information he needs to know, and he's just going to town with grinding so that way that he can get everything done on the second continent at once. This is just a brilliant routing here.
Yes, Smashy does have his token and is about 3 seconds away from his rainbow drop. So we are about to see a large number of Axe Knights getting blasted to pieces, folks. Axe Knight being one of the best value enemies experience-wise for the use of those hurt mores, and with the stop spell at 75%, even a higher value target tonight than normal. All right, Will Wagner running himself completely out of resources and taking a death there. We may be having... What? Is he preparing a gold grind in Garenham here?
It looks like it.
And that's what he had done. He had opened the chest in the back of Garenham and is now gold grinding in the castle treasury.
And Tilo pointing out that unfortunately Ursine seems a little bit lost, and I have to definitely agree with him there. She's retracing over all of her steps, just trying to find where Cantlin is tucked away at, and it's just to the west of her location right now.
Yeah, needs to go just that little bit more south, but has walked past it about 3 times now. Must have it marked off as being completed, and must not have caught that it's there. Because there's the cave. She needs to go west and then south. Yep, right up here and wrap around her sign. There you go. You're headed the right way. And level 14 has brought us our heal spell. Not our heal more spell, but we do have a heal spell now.
Yeah, absolutely. This is pretty terrific for our runners here. This Axe Knight, you're going to be able to stay here for quite a while on hurt mores, be able to take out a couple with just physical attacks. The Axe Knight being the most efficient grind in the game is going to be super helpful to our runners.
Yeah, and this Healmore being so late in our seed, our runners are very likely to have all the stats they need. The instant they see that Healmore spell, they are going to be able to bolt through Swamp Cave, stay the night in Garenham, and go straight into the Dragon Lord's lair, Charlotte Castle.
Yeah, I'd say there's a pretty good chance of it. There's a couple of concerns here. Agility is really, really low, so that can make Charlotte a little bit of a hazard there. And MP still on the lower side with only 65. That's only 8 Healmores, and we're also lacking some attack power. So we need some large stat gains between now and level 16 to make that possible.
Yeah, with the way this seed's going, I'm kind of assuming that Healmore is going to hide at 16, because if Heal's going to wait till 14, you're not going to get any. You're not getting the Healmore till 16. I mean, come on, the seed can't give us that many heals that quick. This does, however, have the look of potentially running into Death Necklace territory here, as we are already, for our level 14 runners, at 115 HP. So we are closing in on the ability to use that item.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Death Necklace is kind of a risk versus reward type of deal here. It's going to cost you 25% of your maximum HP to add an extra 10 attack power to your total. So it can be worth it if you have the HP to support it.
Yeah, I especially like its use when you're in a low MP seed, as it allows you to use fewer attacks to get the Dragon Lord down, which means fewer Healmores necessary. So always a good thing in my mind when you can speed up that kill when you are low on magic power.
And to answer up to NG's question in chat, I do believe that we saw a silver shield in Cantlin. I'm not 100% positive on it, though.
Yeah, one of our runners did attempt a gold grind for the silver shield, but I do not believe they made it through to Cantlin before dying and losing that gold grind. So this may be a case where, especially at low agility, that the silver shield could be a very large get if somebody can make the walk there safely.
Well, with these runners being level 14, hurt more on the board, 116 attack power, and the heal spell, we might be able to see it. The only thing that really would stand in the way would be some fun police here. Meanwhile, betastrep maintaining his experience lead at level 15, only 61 agility, but we have 72 MP, so we have 9 Healmores now.
But we got the scariest level of all, the 0 HP gain. Empty Eye loves it. Ursine did find Cantlin, though, but she burned her last key getting into the coordinates, old man, and is now going to have to walk to Rimbledar to get more. Oh, no.
Yeah, once again, I think this is a case of our runners just having a case of the tournament nerves here. I think that was a very realistic deal here, and it just kind of got to her. She looked like she was pretty lost there for a little while. That's definitely going to be frustrating. But Tilo pointing out that it's really not that painful, all things considered, and I definitely agree with that. At least Rimbledar is just a few paces away from the castle and not on the opposite side of the world.
Yeah, with this distance, the key's not too painful, but when you walk over there and go to get the princess because you just got your coordinates and you can't get in, it has to be a little bit of a mental shock to go, all right, I can get this. No, I can't.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've all had a few of those moments during our time playing this randomizer. You know, hurt mooring the Dragon Lord when you mean to heal more. I've done that more times than I care to count.
Yeah, I did the old Dragon Lord whoopsie, like the second race I ever ran of this game. So yeah, I try to make it a point to never do that again. It was too painful.
Yeah, the first seed that I ever did it on, Sharlock was an 8-minute walk because you had to walk all the way to the other side of the world from Tantangel to get through Swamp. And then Sharlock was on the second continent. So you had to go through Swamp, and then you had to get to Sharlock, and then you had to re-dive Sharlock. So it was like a 16-minute time loss or something like that. It was absolutely insane.
All right, and there is Will Wagner losing the experience lead in our bottom race to Smashy, but has made it safely to Cantlin with the gold grind intact and will buy a silver shield.
Yeah, absolutely, and that extra 10 defense is going to be huge for him. This agility right now, the silver shield puts him in prime position to take a very, very nice lead here. So to answer High Spirit's question in chat, we have some very, very decent HP. Strength is coming along nicely, but unfortunately agility and MP are absolutely abysmal. We'll put it that way. So unfortunately not seeing too much on MP. We just picked up heal more at level 15, but our stats just aren't quite there yet.
Oh, don't look now, but Betastrep has hit 16 and is doing the math.
This is almost doable. With the Death Necklace, it's almost doable. It's close. You need probably one more heal more to make it safe, but it is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I really think this one might boil down to in Beta's mind to the fact that Beta failed to get the gold grind to Cantlin and is missing that extra defense power. Only 78 means the Dragon Lord maxes out at 51, I believe, which means you would be at risk from a 51-48 attack breath combo at 99 HP, where you would end up if you used the Death Necklace right here.
Okay. So yeah, and it would be a small case scenario because those would be close to max rolls on both of those deals. So pretty unlikely, especially with the physical attack range being as wide as it would be. We'd be looking at 25 to 51, so a grand total of what, 28 numbers altogether, 27 numbers altogether. So pretty low chance of rolling those higher numbers.
Yes, absolutely the case there. Just the risk of either a low heal more or that high attack causing you to have to double heal would be a significant risk at this point, is what I'm saying, with only 10 heal mores available in the pool.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with you there. And I definitely think that Betastrep agrees with you as well, seeing as how he's still trying to grind a little bit here.
Yeah, so let's do that math while we are watching the Axe Knight Destruction Hour here. The Death Necklace would put you to 133. We subtract 100 for the Dragon Lord's defensive power, leaving us with 33. We cut that in half, leaving us with 16, and cutting that in half again to 8. So our range would be 8 to 16. That would leave us with an average of 12. which with the Dragon Lord anywhere from 150 to 165 HP would require anywhere from 13 to 14 swings. So with only 10 heal mores, we are most likely going to end up short there. We're probably only about 25 or 30% to succeed there. So this definitely looks like a grind to 17 before your dive.
Absolutely, and depending upon what the stats hold there, we might even see these runners go as far as part of the way to 18 and then grind on the way down.
Yeah, as easy as this grind is, I probably wouldn't even take the risk of taking fights on the way down. We do already know that wizards have Dragon Lord 2 breath. Most of the enemies you would normally grind on, we either haven't seen or they've had something nasty. So as easy and free as this Axe Knight is, I'd probably just stay here till whatever level I need and then go.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a much safer strat for these runners that we'll probably see them take advantage of, seeing as how encounter rates are a little finicky in this game, and this is a guaranteed encounter every other step. Yeah, I think that we'll be seeing that from them.
All right, here is our level 17. 4 power, 6 agility, and 6 hit points. Ooh, that puts this ridiculously close. That puts us up to 9 to 18. And if we could find the fighter's ring in the treasury, actually 9 to 19. But with no MP, this is still insanely close because we do only have 10 heal mores available.
Yeah, but look at how the agility has caught up. So agility was a stat that we were actually pretty worried about just about 5 to 10 minutes ago. It was only about 55, but we've now spiked up to 83 agility on betastrep's side here. So I think he's going to go for it, see if he can make it down to the bottom with full resources. If he makes it down to the bottom with full resources, I think he has a pretty good chance of doing this.
Yep, this is going to boil down to his run luck against AK-47s and Red Dragons, and then what landed on the spike tile. I think that's going to be the two things that tell this entire seed.
Yeah, absolutely. That spike tile is always going to be a wild card here, especially in a scenario like this.
And we have a ludicrously close race on the lower side. Our runners are within 70 experience of one another, 2 fights from level 16. I don't think this could get any tighter if it tried.
Yeah, absolutely. This is why these runners are at the 3-1, is because they are so close to each other. They've taken route divergences here or there, but they've all come together at around the same time, and now they're just in grind and go mode. And so it just comes down to who's better at menuing.
Oh, and we have Betastrep confirming we do have Fun Police available in Sharlock. That was a red D, but he did escape.
So something else that's worth talking about here is if this dive fails and Betastrep uses the Death Necklace, he will lose the Death Necklace. He would have to grind extra levels at that point because he can no longer access the Swamp Cave if he loses with the Death Necklace on.
And that may definitely have been another consideration for Beta taking that extra level, was the risk of being cursed before going into Sharlock.
Well, and he's got to have that in the back of his head right now, too. I mean, even with 137 attack power, 10 healers is pretty tight, especially when you only have 81 defense power. 81 defense power, the Dragon Lord, I believe it deals a maximum of 50 damage. So you're not just looking for that sweet spot of the 48 or above. So that's got to be drilling in the back of his head here.
Yeah, this with this placement for Swamp Cave, Sharlock on the other continent, this is just one of those ridiculously dangerous plays here with the Death Necklace, just because of that cursed factor driving you out of the castle.
Yeah, absolutely. And Raiden pointing out in chat, well, with 135 HP, 10 healers might be able to be stretched out. So with 135 HP, you're going to be likely to see some doubles. It'd be fairly reasonable to expect that. But the thing about it is that with their current attack power, they're only 6 to 13. So that puts them at an average of 9 damage. So at an average of 9 damage, in order to get to the bottom of the range, you're looking at about 20 attacks roughly.
Yeah, I think the one person that might have a better shot at going with the double strat is WillWagnerMusic with that silver shield pickup. That 10 extra defense power will make a big difference when you get regular attacks from the Dragon Lord.
Absolutely, Betastrep being called a fool, and he did equip the Death Necklace, so we're going to be seeing how well our math turns out here.
A back attack here could be devastating to Betastrep.
Absolutely, and 83 agility doesn't put you in terrible position to get initiative versus the Dragon Lord's true form, but it's pretty borderline as far as I've seen.
And Betastrep making the herb play to make sure he gets into the Dragon Lord 2 fight at full HP and does get a stop spell. With no back attack, that helps a ton. That's going to give him 2 attacks before the first heal more, which will make a monstrous difference.
Absolutely, already up to 30 damage for Betastrep. This fight is pretty safe from here on, as long as he rolls decently and doesn't miss menu.
Yes, getting that stop spell from Dragon Lord 1 while only 1 attack away from the kill and not getting back attacked is going to put him at a very high percentage chance of completing this seed now.
Meanwhile, WillWagnerMusic has fallen considerably behind Smashy in terms of experience. It's a little unfortunate. He took a death to a red dragon here in the Swamp Cave, and that cost him a lot of time. And so he was unable to get away from it and has fallen behind pretty considerably in experience.
Always a rough thing on those off steps or coming back in after a refill of the magic to get those very unlucky encounters, but it's what we're stuck with. The fun police gonna fun police. He did open Sharlock, however, so he will be ahead in getting a few of those things out of the way. Alright, Beta is also closing in on the Dragon Lord kill. There's a swing for 17, and get your GGs out for Betastrep. That is a kill of the Dragon Lord.
Absolutely, and this being a very, very quick seed, we're seeing some seeds that are stretching out to the 2-hour mark here recently, and he's finishing this seed in just over an hour. So this is very, very well played on the part of all 4 of these runners. All 4 of these runners being in grind and go mode before an hour and 15 is very, very impressive.
Yes, and that is Betastrep completing the seed in an official SRL time of 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 7 seconds. So congratulations to Betastrep, moving to 4-1 in preparation for the bracket coming up at the end of Week 5 of Swiss.
And big shout outs to Edstream. Thank you so much for raiding with your party of 10. you have missed quite the seed. It's been a very interesting seed. Lots of things available right from the get-go. We had 2 magic keys right at the start with gold included. So we started with a full supply of magic keys from Moldar right nearby. We also had Garenham being led through Swamp Cave, which was in Tantagel Basement. So this seed has been a very, very quick seed. And meanwhile, our other runners continuing to grind. Interesting choice. Smashy, deciding to play it safe, is going for level 18 here. Just looking for some extra stats.
Yeah, may definitely be that concern about the Death Necklace and the fact that Swamp Cave in the back of Tantagel Castle is what leads to Sharlock. So this definitely could be that concern about being cursed in that Dragonlord fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the stats overall, 83 agility. His agility is a little low here. So he's probably looking for a little bit extra agility. He's one of the runners that often talks about agilities when I commentate with him.
But here comes the play. Will has decided 17 is enough, possibly, and maybe headed in. Looks like he's getting his herb count up to full. Gonna stay the night and head for Sharlock. So this could be our divergence. Smashy is still about 1,300 experience away from his level. So he's got another 10 Axe Knights to kill yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be dependent upon Sharlock here for Will Wagner. Will Wagner is going to be seeing some fun police. We did verify that those are in Sharlock. But if he makes it to the bottom, we've seen that it's definitely possible.
Yes, and there is betastrep waving at the chat and joining us in the Twitch chat for everybody to congratulate. Make sure you let him know that he ran a great race, folks.
Yes, absolutely. GG to you, Beta. So probably the only thing that I saw that I'm a little curious on was the coordinates when you had the Gwaelin's Love. Was it just you going back to double check the coordinates just to be safe? What was going through your head at that point? Okay, all right. Well, you flipped west and east, so I mean, you know, I've done it myself, so I mean, I can't really talk too heavily about it, but it happens, and you still managed to pull out first with some very efficient grinding throughout the seed. You did a very good job with taking care of making sure that the experience was flowing even while you were exploring, and that was super, super helpful to you. You had an experience lead pretty much from level 8 on. And Ursine has unfortunately forfeited from her race with betastrep. It is... It's probably a fair point. She definitely got lost for a little bit, and that can be frustrating. And it can be kind of hard to finish out the seed with that kind of frustration in the back of your head. So, but either way, she played an amazing race. She played a fantastic race. Was keeping up fairly well with the experience. Was just a little bit behind on the exploration.
And speaking of Ursine, we are joined here in the commentary booth by Ursine. Good evening, Ursine. GG.
Good evening. Thank you. How are you? Yeah, I was just listening, and yeah, I definitely got lost. I didn't see where that went down, but overall, it was a good race, and I just didn't feel like continuing.
Yeah, always rough when you feel like you're that far behind and you get stuck on that one location you have to get, and you just can't seem to dig it up. Was it just that you missed the pathway down there, or did you have it marked off as that area was a dead end, or what happened?
I think I marked it off in my head as it wasn't anywhere, and I just missed it. So yeah, just didn't see it down there at all.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. For the most part, for the early part of the race, you were doing a very good job with keeping up with Betastrep and Smashy. The three of you were pretty much neck and neck. You were only about 400 experience behind Betastrep. But unfortunately, the exploration is kind of where you started to fall behind. And it's just one of those things that just happens every once in a while. But other than that, it was a very, very well played race. You had a very heads up play when you dove into the grave. You dove down to the bottom, you found that curse belt, and you're like, okay, there's nothing more I need here, I'm out. So that was a very, very heads up play to you. Very, very good routing decision as well.
Thank you. I thought about going just because I didn't have the fighter's ring, but I had everything else. So I'm like, I'm just getting out of here. I know I'm behind. I need to go, 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 go.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean you're still at a very solid tournament record. 3-2 still guarantees you a spot in the brackets. So I mean this is for positional play and something to learn from.
Absolutely. Of course, I think my downfall always is I get lost. So I think I need to figure something out for that.
Well, not all of us are Nest cardinality skilled at cartography with one hand while running our controller with the other.
Very, very true. I can't even draw a stick figure, so I don't know what a map would look like.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very much so in the same boat as you. I tried for a little while to draw a map, and it was a mess, and I ended up getting lost anyways. But one thing that did help me out a lot is that I just have a piece of paper that I put in front of me with a pen, and I just marked down key locations. Like, say Tantagel's in one area, and Remulder was just to the west and north of that. I can just write west and north of Tantagel, and it kind of helps me remember those kinds of things. And I also make notes of dead ends. So that's what I do. So.
All right, we have Will Wagner clearing the spike tile in front of the Dragon Lord and headed that direction, while Smashy is on the U-shaped floor and has nearly caught up. So here we go.
I'm gonna get going. I'm just gonna say thank you for commentary and thank you for our tracker and all of that. So thank you and good night, and again, GG to you.
Thank you very much, Ursine, and we wish you the best of luck going into the bracket stages that will be announced at the end of this week 5 of Swiss.
Alright, and WillWagnerMusic gets a hurt more from the Dragon Lord, but then gets a stop spell. Looks like he's in pretty good position to take him out, and he may get a double here at this opening with 91 defense.
Oh, and does not get back attacked. That is huge. Oh, wow, and... oh, Smashy made the play for the Fighter's Ring, and it's not there. Fighter's Ring ended up on the judges' table.
Fighter's Ring can either be on the judges' table or at the very bottom of the grave. It's one of those two chests.
Oh, that is brutal luck for Smashy. A 75% chance of it being there, and it fails. Wow.
Unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, WillWagnerMusic chipping away at the Dragon Lord and hoping to extend out these.
Yes.
And so,
Beta, everybody got the death necklace. It was in such a spot that everybody dove that full cave there and found it. So, yeah, we are running full death necklace availability.
And based off of the rolls that we're seeing from WillWagnerMusic, I think he didn't equip the Death Necklace. I might have missed it if he did. Oh, no, there's an 18. Never mind.
Yeah, there's an 18. It's definitely on. I was pretty sure it had been equipped, but you made me question it there for a second. We do see, thanks to our trackers Up2MG and Cyberdark, that the Dragon Lord did roll almost max HP, a full 163 out of a possible 165, but Will Wagner makes the swing and does take down the Dragon Lord. So get your GGs out for Will Wagner. He will, it appears, take this race after going through his discussions with King Lorik and Princess Gwaelin.
Absolutely, and this is top tier play here. This race is going to finish within just a couple of minutes of each other, with Smashy not too far behind WillWagnerMusic. So get out your GGs. WillWagnerMusic is going to take first place in his race, second place overall on the SRL race, and hopefully we'll hear from him shortly.
Yes, we will see if Will join us here in the commentary booth while Smashy is into the Dragon Lord 2 fight and swinging away.
There's a minimum roll for Smashy. That is unfortunate there. In betastrep pointing out in chat, there wasn't much leeway on MP, and you were absolutely right. MP was definitely a concern overall for the seed. Even when you guys were in pretty much grind and go mode, you guys had 50 MP to work with. So it was definitely something that was nice to see.
Smashy cutting it close, but gets a 16 and an 18 in the last two attacks. So definitely making up that average and giving himself a real good shot at finishing off the Dragon Lord here, as we are joined in the booth by the winner of our bottom race, WillWagnerMusic.
How goes? I'm kind of in shock.
Yes, that was a very, very well played race, Will. So the biggest thing that I want to point out for your routing divergence is while Smashy was going around running errands and exploring the north half of the second continent, you decided to grind on that Axe Knight that you found, and it actually caught you up in experience to the point where both of you were in grind and go mode. You were just a little bit behind him on grind and go mode, but after that, it was, I think the shortest that we saw was like 70 experience between the two of you. So you were behind on experience and then caught up and actually ended up taking the lead, and then ended up diving on 17, whereas Smashy dove at 18. So we did have a question in chat for you. It was from Lorgon. He was asking, what was your thoughts on taking on enemies on the way down in case you died after equipping the Death Necklace, in case you needed that extra level?
I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to take on enemies on the way down. I planned on running from everyone based on how the first floor went. And when I got a werewolf that was kind of soft and I could take in 2 hits, I was like, I'll do that. And then I said, if I get full HP, I'll take on Axe Knights and soft enemies like that. And then when I got down to the Dragon Lord's level, every enemy was like that and pretty soft. And I thought I saw the spike tile was also the Axe Knight, and I'm like, well, I'm halfway here. If the next level is something big and it makes it like less of a question, I'll do it. And so I got that level, or I think I almost got that level, and I was like, I have to go, because like I had the Death Necklace and it just gave me to 136, so I knew I was on the edge, and if I stayed there and I tried to walk and grind levels, I knew I was going to spend a hurt more on something, a heal more on something stupid. And I was like, in case, I'll save my extra 6 in case I have to hurt more strat, but I have the attack to do it now. I just don't know if I had the heal mores.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something that Betastrep has talked about as well. The lack of MP in the seed overall was definitely a crippling factor for you guys. But you guys both managed to pull out a victory against the Dragon Lord, and you are going to advance to 4-1 overall for the Swiss rounds, and in pretty good position play for the brackets. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel good. I feel really fortunate. I got killed by that red dragon on my first Sharlock dive. I think it was a level too soon, probably in retrospect. But I ran into some really bad encounters my first time, and I guess it got it out of the way because my second dive was way safer and easier. I feel good about that. When I got hurt more, I've employed this strategy. If you don't have hurt more to start the game, the rest of the game is spent looking for a place to spend it when you get it. And so I got it right underneath or right in a swamp cave. And I was just like, I'm just going to use this until I can't. And I found it was quicker to outside and go to that inn rather than wait for one of those enemies to kill me because the Axe Knight wasn't doing damage and I didn't get into the wizard encounter rates high enough. So I ended up outsiding instead of trying to wait for a knight and going to the inn and going right back in and just hurt more because I had that low MP. I'm like, as soon as I get heal more, I'm going to go for it. And it just never got there.
Yeah, absolutely. Heal more being locked behind the later levels definitely isn't always a bad thing, seeing as how the stats were a little lacking after you got heal more, so it was just kind of an excuse for you guys just to stay put and just to grind it out. And that's just some fantastic decision making on your part. You closed quite a considerable gap in a short amount of time.
And we are also joined in the commentary booth by our finisher, Smashy. Good game, Smashy.
Yeah, I see exactly how I lost. 18 was garbage.
Yeah, when you decided to make the trip up to 18, was it the fact that there was still a risk of not getting the Dragon Lord fight done, and if you used the Death Necklace, you would not have access back into the Swamp Cave without removing it?
Yeah, I was doing the math in my head, and I think at level 17, you pretty much needed all your attacks to win. And then, so that's kind of why I did it, and then it turns out 18 was garbage, and yeah.
Yeah, 18 did not make much difference, and the Fighter's Ring, we have narrowed down to 2 locations. It was either on the judge's table or the very last chest in the grave. We're not sure which one because no one ever went to either of those locations, but after you went looking for it, Smashy, we were able to narrow it down to those 2 chests.
I completely forgot about it. Once I saw all of the quest items and I knew I had the sword, I was like, well, I guess I gotta look for the token and the armor and go. And I just completely blanked because I knew I had the death necklace in inventory.
And Lorgon pointing out in chat that the ROM shows the ring was in the judge's table. Thank you for pointing that out. Smashy, I do have just one question for you. It's the dive into Sharlock. What was your thought on finishing out 18 before diving Sharlock?
What, like a dive and grind?
Yeah, so you could have exhausted your resources with the Axe Knight and then healed up and finished out the level on the way down. I think you took an in-stay in between 17 and 18, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I hit 18 before I did everything, because one of the stats we were lacking is MP, and I didn't want to do a dive and grind, and then level 18 is huge MP and nothing else, because that pretty much means I have to go back to Garenham, and I pretty much waste the entire dive.
Okay, absolutely. That makes good sense. So, either way, GG to you, finishing just a couple of minutes behind WillWagnerMusic with an extra level ground.
I wonder what Betastrep did to kill it, because I'm looking at the times now, he has a 113, so maybe he just got the perfect routing and took everything in one go or something.
I
So the
gold
big-
ground twice. I probably didn't need to twice. He probably didn't gold grind at all because it looks like he didn't have the silver shield. I think I was the only.
No, I didn't get it either because unfortunately I gold ground and then couldn't get away from a blue dragon, and I saved before the gold grind because the way I did it was I took the chest in Garenham and then grabbed the princess, and then when I dropped her off I did the gold grind then because I was gonna go ahead and just finish up everything in one pass, but then I got sniped by a blue dragon. That pretty much ruined that plan and wasted a bunch of time.
And I think I did both those grinds. I did the one at the start that betastrep said he did, and I did the one after rescuing the princess to get the shield. I think that was a little bit time, but as soon as he got hurt more, I would bet that he was in that swamp cave pounding on those axes.
Yeah, he ended up going into grind mode after he picked up the rainbow drop. And at that point, all three of you were relatively close in experience. And he ended up grinding on the Axe Knight until level 17 and finished out level 17. The biggest thing that made the difference between betastrep and you guys was that he was keeping the experience flowing while he was exploring. And doing just a fantastic job of making sure he was knocking out as much as possible at one time. And so I think that's the biggest difference that I saw there. You guys were grinding while exploring, but he just got some more favorable enemies in terms of experience.
Definitely. And then I think also that failed dive attempt by me, I thought cost me the game. I think that probably cut me back about 3 or 4 minutes, but that's a really good run. 113 is a really efficient trip through the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was the first to find the armor and the coordinates as well. So he went straight for Gwaelin at that point. And when he went for Gwaelin, he found out about the Axe Knight. He finished up getting the token and then came back to the grind tile and was grinding while Smashy was still running errands, and you still had the token and the armor to find WillWagner.
Gotcha. He probably did the east and the north sweep on the cave. I think I got sniped by some enemies there too. It was a fun map. I liked it a lot. It was just mean at different points.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody have any finishing final thoughts before we close out for the night?
Yeah, I had a question about the next week. I know that there is some sort of is it a play-in round or something of that nature?
I believe, based on what I understand, with the full 64 runner tournament filled out, there will not be the need for a play-in race because we are going to have exactly 32 runners with records of 5-0, 4-1, and 3-2. So that was in previous tournaments, but will not be required for this year because we got a full 64 member tournament filled out.
Right, you mentioned it was more of a seeding thing.
Yeah, it was there in case we had an odd number of tournament participants, which in this case we did not. We didn't have. We had 64 runners, so the play-in round will not be necessary.
Follow.
All right, and thank you very much, Will Wagner, for joining us here. We had a wonderful set of races here for all of the randomaniacs here on Randomania this evening. Amused? Some final thoughts from you? And let's get on with our evening.
Absolutely. The biggest thing that I take home from this seed is Yeah, don't underestimate multitasking, because that made a very large difference here. Not only between first and second place, but between second and third place as well. It was definitely a very, very close race. It was very enjoyable to watch. Everybody did a fantastic job. Even Ursine was not that far behind you guys. So it was definitely a race that is definitely worth watching back and taking some things to note. So, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and close out for the evening. GGU Smashy, GG to WillWagnerMusic as well, and from all of us here at Randomania, our 2 trackers up to NG, as well as CyberDark86, our restreamer Lorgon, as well as myself, and from I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name.
Just me over in the corner. I am highrofellos, your co-commentator for the evening.
Indeed, highrofellos. I'm so sorry. I promise I will get it down. So anyways, from all of us here at Randomania, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening.